Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Jeff and Paper Gary. It is Saturday, January 24th, about 8:10 and 7 degrees outside. So I woke up really early this morning like I normally do, backed the wife's car out of the garage around 5 a.m. and put the space heater on, which has been running since, so that I can get it up to some reasonable operating temperatures in here this morning. As you might guess, this is not exactly an airplane building video at this moment. Before we get started in that today, we're going to do a little bit of unboxing. And some of this is goodies that showed up from my new friend Hisham at Clemson Aeronautics, and we're going to talk more about him and his company here in a minute. Others in this other box over here on my right side is just prudent planning. So as you're going through these projects, and if you're a first-time builder, or maybe you're just new to running projects, or maybe you're not, it's always prudent to be looking ahead at the future steps and getting the things that you might need. You never know when something is going to be on back order, or it might be a long lead part. In my career, in my field, I've been dealing with long lead parts and advanced parts lists for probably my entire career, because those are really a thing. So in this box are some things that I know I don't necessarily need today, but I'm going to need at some future date. So I wanted to make sure that they're here at the ready, so I'm not at a stop work later. What I don't know is in here, because I'm not sure if I remember to order them, was some additional AN 426-83-4 rivets. So those are the rivets that are going into the horizontal stab. And I'm running low on those, and I went to go buy some more, and I can't remember if I added them to the cart or not. I remember shopping around to see who had the better price, because some of these things are rather expensive, and you buy them in bulk, right? So they sell rivets by the pound, or by the eighth pound, or quarter pound, or whatever. And so if I don't have any here in this box, I'm not gonna let that stop me today. I think I've got some upstairs in the cold storage room that came from my wing kits, and so I'll just rob Peter to pay Paul, and I'll take those to keep me working today, and I'll go place an order and make sure that I have plenty of those on hand. So with that, I want to talk a little bit more about how we got here specifically. So as you know, I'm a big fan of T-Flight 77 and That Hippie Pilot, two great YouTubers that put out some excellent videos. They're both building Vans RV-8s, and I watched all their videos, admittedly maybe a little bit behind. I need to catch up. And they have saved me a whole lot of learning on my own. So I have avoided a lot of mistakes, or learned from their processes and procedures, which has really helped me tremendously. Sometimes they teach me things that I forget, and I have to go remember and relearn them the hard way. But they're really great videos. I highly encourage you to go check them out, as well as their podcast. So the two of them host a podcast called We Are Not Experts, an airplane building podcast. So if that's your thing, go check them out. If it's not your thing, go check them out anyway. Honestly, podcasts weren't really my thing until I found theirs, and I really, really enjoy it. So looking forward to a road trip sometime soon. That's where I usually put my podcast in and listen to them. But I'll make sure that I add that on my playlist on my way to work. So you can find that on Spotify, and I think they're even on YouTube with a video to go along with their podcast. So I'll make sure to include those links in the description or in comments below. Why do I mention those guys specifically today? Well, Hisham from Clemson Aeronautics found my YouTube channel, I think, via That Hippie Pilot, and at least was put in contact with me through Chris there at That Hippie Pilot, and sent me a message to say, hey, you know, this guy's trying to get a hold of you. So I gave him a call and had a great conversation with Hisham. He has a pretty amazing career in aviation, has been in aviation I think pretty much his whole life, and has quite the resume of aircraft that he's flown and been in maintenance and all kinds of things. And so now his passion is taking tools and making them better. So he looks at what we have out there for the industry and finds ways to go improve those. He's got this engineering mindset to him, and he has sent me some things that he thinks are really going to help in my build, and might be a better tool than what most builders go with it, which is a DRDT2, whatever that, right? Arm mounted thingamajig that we've been using previously to dimple skins. So gonna unbox his things here in just a minute and talk more about those. I'm not sure if I'll get into using any of them today, but as I do, I will certainly be posting reviews and videos of what I like about it, and maybe even what I don't like about it, and giving some feedback to Hisham. But really want to shout out Clemson Aeronautic. I will say that their website absolutely has things that I'm going to go spend money on in the future, right? It's very plain to see that they've got some great tools, and especially in the area of yokes for the pneumatic squeezer, that can make life a lot easier and get us into places that we normally can't with a standard yoke. So I'll definitely be going back there. So I'll make sure that I put the link to Clemson Aeronautics in the description below, and we'll get into those parts further in just a minute. Right now, let's open up and see what we get from Aircraft Spruce and Specialty. I'm going to be doing some composite work, and so I bought previously some flux, and the micro balloons are in a box up here on the shelf waiting for future use. And there are some things that I'll need, like a big box of tongue depressors for mixing and disposable mixing cups. And then a tool that again, right, something that I thought I wasn't going to use or wasn't going to buy, and then decided, you know what, it's probably worth the money to go get it. So this is a resin dispenser. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty pricey tool. I think this one was like $500. Now, why did I get this? Well, it's gonna make life a whole lot easier when it comes to mixing the epoxy resin for doing the fiberglass work on the tips of the horizontal stab and the wing tips, and the fairings for the cowlings and all the rest of the places that we're gonna use composites. Certainly gonna need this in the future, and when I'm knee deep in composite work and things are hardening and time is of the essence, I don't want to have to stop, measure, weigh, mix. I just want to do the pump system here. So accuracy, expediency, and probably a tremendous lack of frustration when it comes to trying to measure these things and getting the right amounts. So this is going to go on a shelf somewhere for a while until I need it. Probably going to fill this up with some wet systems, epoxy and resin, and use that for my composite building in the future. So now let's get on to what we received from Clemson Aeronautics. Well, I will say that Hisham spared no expense when it came to packaging. We might have to change tactics. Okay, so the first thing I'll note about these parts is they're heavy, which is a great thing. When you pick up this yoke, I mean, this is, not only is this a lot of steel, right? A lot of made in America part here that is heavy steel. It's pretty dense. I don't know what type of steel that is specifically material-wise, but I will tell you one of the observations I've made with the pneumatic squeezer and the yoke that comes with it. There's flex in that thing, believe it or not, right? As big as a piece of steel that is, when you squeeze a rivet, you can see that thing flex, right? So if that is flexing, that is energy loss that is not being driven to the rivet, right? Does it matter? Maybe, right? So, you know, it's a bit of a quality issue. Is it still gonna do the job? Yes. Does it work great? Yes, it does. Is there a little bit of loss and efficiency there? Yes, absolutely as well. So these parts are pretty specific. This one in particular, I'm really looking forward to using. This bolts down to your workbench, and the pneumatic squeezer attaches to it here from the top and allows you hands-free operation from the squeezer side, right, to manipulate your part. So if you have long parts like I was doing the other day, the longeron, sorry, not the longeron, the leading edge and trailing edge spars, where you have to do all those dimplings, right, you can just feed that thing through, having both your hands manipulate the part. If you remember back a few videos where I was dimpling the skins for these things, that's kind of a really weird and awkward thing to do. So you've got this big piece of metal and you've got the DRDT2 sticking out from the workbench and you're trying to manipulate it while you also, right? And so there's some risk involved with that. Like you can slip and drop your part and bash it up, or what is also pretty common, thankfully it didn't happen to me, knock on wood, right, is having the part kind of jump out of the die and piercing the skin with your dimple die, right? So these tools hopefully are going to help it. Now this is another one, right, that mounts to the bench. The squeezer attaches to the top, and we've got a long depth in here to get into some other parts. Right, this is for really shallow parts. So when I think of going along a rib, this is going to be really handy. When I think of having to get in a little bit deeper to go do some of those further depth holes, this one is going to be kind of the way to go. So looking forward to trying out both of these things. And then this one here has this relief cut in it, and I think this, if I remember from our conversation, is an area that can get into some tight corners as well. So looking forward to using all these things. Thanks again to Hisham, Clemson Aeronautics, really generous for you to send these things out, and I really look forward to being kind of a test bed for these things and giving my honest review. Now, this other piece that we have here goes along with what's in this box. And so this is a first observation, right? A very well machined and manufactured piece. So this goes on the front of what is in here, which is essentially a frame similar to our DRDT2, and allows us to put the pneumatic squeezer on there and use this not only for dimpling but for riveting as well. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. I'm going to open up this guy here so we can get a better idea of how that goes together. Okay, so as expected, this is the frame to which this device is going to bolt to via this bag of hardware here, I presume. When I get that all put together, we're going to do another review, and I'm probably going to get into a position where I'll need this pretty soon as I start moving on to dimpling the rudder skins and the elevator skins, right? So what Hisham mentioned was with the lack of handle on here, right, you can get your material in much closer and able to get into those kind of close confine areas. So more on this later. Do want to say again a big thank you to Hisham and Clemson Aeronautics. Really appreciate you sending out these parts for evaluation. And I'll tell you, in both the work life and my personal life, I tend to make my decisions based strictly on character, right? The people I associate with, the people I do business with, and what I will say from Hisham in the probably 1 hour-ish conversation that I had with him is he strikes me as a person of very high integrity and very high humility, right? So his feedback or his request to me was, hey Jeff, use my products and tell me honestly what you think, right? If they're great, tell me they're great. If they're not great, tell me where I can improve. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate that he's going through the effort of making American-made tools here. And I really like the fact that he looked at the tools that are out there and found ways to improve them. Now, some people might kind of frown on this and say, well, hey, so-and-so developed this tool and it's their tool and he's stealing their ideas. I don't see it that way. I see this as innovation. I think competition is healthy in this instance. I think that we should always be looking at ways to go make improvements, whether they're on our own things or somebody else's things, right? Because ultimately it helps out the community and it drives people to go do better, right? So I think these are really great tools. I'm really looking forward to using them, hoping that they live up to my expectations, which admittedly are pretty high. But if they're not, I have full confidence that my feedback to Hisham will drive further improvements so that he can continue to make more and better tools for the aviation or airplane building community. So looking forward to all that again. Thank you very much. I'll drop links in the description and I'm gonna clean up this stuff and some of the mess behind me and get on with airplane building today. Jeff and Paper Gary not out. We'll be back in a minute.